This is a 13 Weather Impact Alert.
Thank you so much for joining us now at 5 o'clock. The brutal weather conditions we're seeing played a part in a massive pileup on I-196 in Ottawa County. Drone video from Chicago and Midwest storm chasers shows the wreckage you're seeing here near Hudsonville and Zeeland.
Yeah, this was a mess today. The crash was first reported around 10:20 this morning and still remains closed at this hour. Officials say more than 100 vehicles were involved, including around 40 semi-trucks. Up to a dozen people were taken to a hospital, but no one was killed.
If you do not have to be out on the roads right now, please stay home. Conditions are not expected to improve much, if at all, as we continue into the evening.
Meteorologist Blake Hansen joins us now with more on the weather that we've seen so far. And Blake, what can we expect moving forward?
Yeah, for some places, especially westward of US 131, the snow really hasn't come to an end since all the way back on Friday. It's been a continuous stretch over the past several days through the weekend. Of course, last night into today, the snow really picked up in the way of lake effect. And while we're not expecting a ton of additional accumulation the rest of this evening through tonight, it still will be just enough what's left of the lake effect to continue these treacherous conditions, especially along and westward of US 131. That's where the snow will remain steady through tonight. Satellite radar, well, the lake effect machine is still chugging along, and generally this is impacting those in Muskegon, Ottawa, Allegan County, the western edge of Kent County. And notice some of those snow bands off this west to northwest wind. It has been quite blustery today. Those snow bands extend well inland as well across portions of Ionia, even into Barry County. And there is still snow to the north of Muskegon County as well. Don't want to forget about those in Oceana and Mason County. You are still contending with lake effect as well, again, off that west to northwest wind. The fine structure of the snow, because it's so cold overhead, it's almost like dust falling to the ground. But this lighter flake size is also causing visibility to be quite reduced, on the order of less than a mile in many spots. So while the snow might not pile up as much the rest of the night, it will still continue at times whiteout conditions with the blustery winds. Of course, with the wind still out of the north and west, those temperatures sitting around 10 degrees, more feels like 5 to 10 below zero. Again, with that west to northwest wind. Winter storm warnings and winter weather advisories will carry on through daybreak tomorrow. So coming up in your full forecast, we'll time out the rest of the lake effect through tonight. And then we have another round of snow later this week, and that will be furthered by extreme cold towards the end of the week. Still a lot to talk about. We'll have that all covered for you later this half hour.
All right, Blake, thank you. And now let's take another look at the massive pileup in Ottawa County. Both sides of I-96 between exit 62 in Hudsonville and exit 55 in Zeeland still remain closed at this hour.
And we, of course, have several reporters working on this story. We want to get over to where that happened. Tow trucking companies have been working together and making progress clearing that portion of 196.
And 13 News Science Micah Cho is live there right now. Micah, how do things look at this time?
Well, I got some good news for you. If you take a look behind me, there is one car on this side of the highway that is still in the ditch. And it looks like crews are working to bring that to the road right now. I cannot speak for what the other side of this lane of I-196 looks like, but for now, it looks a lot better than when we showed up here at around 3 o'clock this afternoon. Now, I want to go to some video real quick of Chicago storm and Midwest storm chasers. I want to look at how these semi-trucks are positioned. You have a bunch of jackknife semi-trucks, and on both ditches on each side of the freeway, there's cars in all of them, just dozens of them. And over the past few hours, I mean, we've seen this teamwork of all of these competing tow truck companies just clearing these out one by one. I mean, there was 2 semi trucks on this side of the ditch not too long ago, and we just saw them. One of them is on the back of this Bud's towing truck, and the other is, I don't know where the other one is. I think it might have been driven off already. But I mean, just every few minutes, we would just be seeing cars and cars being driven away on tow trucks. It's been quite amazing to see. I did talk to one earlier. His name is Andrew Scrotenboer, and he works for Grand Valley Towing. He told me that it's just been such a big puzzle trying to figure out what cars to get on the road first and to get out of here.
Yes, it was very hectic with the buses. Thankfully, that removed all the people waiting.
Mm-hmm.
And Yeah, now we got a row of tow trucks ready to go.
And Josh Albertus will have that story in a second, but you can hear Scroton Board talking about all the buses that were taking drivers to Hudsonville High School. Again, as far as visibility goes, still poor, but good news, I-196 is clearing up. For now, in Ottawa County, I'm Micah Cho for 13 on your side.
And people stranded in the crash there were moved by bus, as Micah mentioned, to Hudsonville High School nearby. That's where we find 13 on your side's Josh Albertus. Josh, you've been out there throughout the afternoon. What are you seeing now?
Yeah, we had seen multiple buses pull into a staging ground on the other side of the high school earlier this afternoon. That's pretty much cleared up, and thankfully it didn't seem like as many people as you might think for a size of an accident where it's estimated, of course, over 100 vehicles involved. But on this side, it appears that they've been staging damaged vehicles. Whether or not any buses came over here earlier in the day wasn't clear from that vantage point earlier, but a very good thing that this high school was closed today so that it offered them that space to come and have that staging area. What we did see from that area earlier was that at least three buses pulled up throughout the afternoon with folks from the scene. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office confirming to us this afternoon that all the drivers that had been stranded and had requested transportation had been moved here to the high school. Everyone injured, the Sheriff's Office said, estimated about 9 to 12 people had been moved to local hospitals. No fatalities reported, thankfully. We talked to several people here today at the high school, some people waiting to pick up someone they knew, and a couple others who said they ended up amidst that scene. Take a listen to what a couple people told us about what they saw at that time.
Well, it just happened so fast. It was a white wall, and we just slammed into this woman here.
And then we just passed Hudsonville, and the whiteout started. Everyone in front of us started going probably 25, 30, hazards on. And then at one point, a couple people hit their brakes. I hit mine. Nothing happened. The skid started. Then it was just semi after semi, either going into the ditch, hitting each other. The scope of it was the craziest thing. Just seeing how many cars and trucks behind who weren't part of the pileup but had nowhere to go, couldn't go through to turn off.
And one of those there you heard from here and there said basically he was blessed with Hudsonville, with somewhere to go, essentially with somewhere to get out of that scene. And the emergency response, he noted, was very quick. And of course, as you can see behind us, and as Micah has kind of been reporting earlier today, that cleanup is still continuing. Here live in Hudsonville, Josh Albertus, 13 on your side.
Well, we've got a special guest here. I know. Yeah, it's never a good sign. It's never a good sign, Elena, when you see me twice in the same day. It's just not. And that, of course, is due to the traffic Armageddon along 196. We had up to 100 vehicles involved earlier this morning, 40 semi-tractor trailers. We are shut down both east and westbound between Byron Road in Zealand and 32nd Avenue in Hudsonville. Again, if you don't have to drive anywhere, please stay off the roads. We had a report of another crash eastbound 96, actually two separate accidents along 96, both east and westbound at 131. Unknown on the severity of any potential injuries there. I actually just missed a crash on my way in at Plainfield and Leonard Street, so as bad as conditions were this morning, they have not improved whatsoever into the afternoon, and now your 5 o'clock drive home. Expressway speeds, 31, Holland to the south under 40, speeds on 96, the Ford Freeway 131 running about 30 to 40 miles per hour, slower than normal. So if you do have to go anywhere this evening and into the later night time, make sure you give yourself double the time that you typically would wherever you have to be. As we take a look now at I-96 and Alpine Avenue, very slow go both east and westbound. Looks almost deserted there on the eastbound side. Don't forget to follow me on the X for all the latest traffic updates at Dave13 Traffic.
All right, thank you, Dave. Well, this weather is continuing to make road conditions hazardous with blowing snow and increasingly freezing conditions. 13 Your Side's Nick Nelson is in our 13 weather chaser and joins us now with more on the current live road conditions. Nick, what do you see?
Hi, Elena. Yeah, we are in Holland right now. We just passed through downtown Holland. We're actually making our way to US 131, head north there to just see what that looks like. But just take a look at what's in front of us. I mean, you can barely see this road. You can see some of the tracks from the cars that have driven on this road, but you can see just the blowing snow, the near whiteout conditions, and just how bad these roads are. Aside from these roads being snow-packed, obviously, we've mentioned the cold temperatures. A lot of these roads are frozen over. So yet again, just reason to drive extra safely, give yourself time to make a longer travel, to give other cars spaces, and especially to give plows space as they work. We have seen a number of snow plows here on the roads as we've been traveling here in Ottawa County. We can see one approaching us right now, actually. Now, we did speak with the Ottawa County Road Commission. They say they're prioritizing some of these larger highways, but they're hoping to get to some of these smaller roads soon as well.
With the way things are blown and drifting and whatnot, it kind of makes it tough to catch up on some of the more local roads. So right now it's been a lot of working on those high volume roads.
And here's another look. I mean, this as we continue to make our way to US 131, there's just a lot of snowpack here. You can't really tell where the lines on the road are. So just something to keep in mind as we continue, as commutes happen throughout this early evening. We, of course, are going to be continuing to travel on these roads and to let you know throughout the evening what these road conditions are look like. For now, reporting live, Nick Nelson, 13 on your side.
Nick, thank you. And if you thought that today was cold, just wait until later this week and this weekend.
The polar vortex is set to make a return. Meteorologist Colton Woods joins us now and tells us when that could arrive. Hi, Colton.
Hi, guys. Yeah, we have serious cold on the way. The cold that we're seeing right now is nothing in comparison to what we could see Friday in this coming weekend. Taking a look at the upper level pattern, right now we have some colder over us. However, even colder air is set to move in later this week. So playing this forward, you can see this is tomorrow evening, but look at off to the north, a very strong cold air mass will move into the northern Great Lakes, including us here in West Michigan by the time we get to Friday. These are actual air temperatures, so what the thermometer reads. This is Thursday afternoon, generally in the teens, but notice as we get into Friday morning, the actual air temperature will be crashing well below zero. By Friday afternoon, the actual air temperature will be below zero, around -7 in Grand Rapids, and it gets pretty cold. If we see any sort of clearing away from the lakeshore by Saturday morning, we could be flirting with all-time record low temperatures here in Grand Rapids, which is -24 degrees. Some areas, especially east of Grand Rapids, could be flirting with -24 in actual air temperature. When you factor in the wind, it will feel much colder than that. So this is the feels like temperature by Friday afternoon, feeling like almost -30 by the time we get to the late week hours, and even into this weekend, it looks pretty cold across West Michigan. So feels like temperatures by Friday morning will be pushing -30 across West Michigan. So very serious cold out there. Do keep in mind you will have to be very safe later this week. Back to you guys.
Colton, thank you. Our weather coverage continues throughout on air and on our 90 minutes and with 13 Plus. Stay with us starting at 6:30 to get your extended forecast, live updates from the roads and more. Download on your TV and watch for free.